All the top shoe brand of the world rise with the power of word of mouth. For some, it may be hard to imagine that the top shoe brand in the world had very humble beginnings and faced a lot, if not of all, of the problems and challenges that all entrepreneurs go through. It all started with a desire, an idea to serve from the perspective of the creator, as we all entrepreneurs do. If you haven't guessed who am I referring to, I'm talking about Phil Knight. And the reason I'm sharing this story with you, and I think it's extremely valuable, is for two reasons. One, have one strategy and execute it. Entrepreneurs make the mistake of going in 1,000 different directions, hoping that one sticks. Two, do not underestimate the value of building relationships. Entrepreneurs are so eager to make money, and I completely understand that you need to pay bills, you have to pay the rent, food, traveling, and all kinds of other expenses. That you go straight to the transaction, but I assure you, as I will share with you later, that you will lose more in the long run. Let me share with you what I mean. To quote Knight, my sales strategy was simple and I thought it rather brilliant. I drove all over the Pacific Northwest to various track meets. Between races, I would shout up the coaches, the runners, the fans, and I would show them my wares. The response was always the same. I couldn't write orders fast enough. Knight's story began with Phil Knight, co-founder, with his first shipment in 1964. By 1965, he hired Jeff Johnson, who was just as aggressive and a diligent salesman as Knight, but with an edge. In 10 months, he sold 3,250 pair of shoes with no advertisement budget, no TV spots, no stores. How did he do it? In Knight's own word, it was completely impossible. This is how. For every athlete he sold a pair of shoes, he would create an index card for that customer. He would make notes on shoe preference, sports birthday, and kept correspondence sending training tips and words of encouragement before competition. These customers would write back, telling him all about their experiences and the shoe performance, injuries. So Johnson will make adjustment to the shoe based on the feedback he received from them and send them back the shoes. He built a mailing list with a 95% response rate without the help of the technology we take for granted today. Can you imagine that? Today, entrepreneurs complain and render it a failure when their videos or posts don't go viral. So, the moment of truth. In 1967, Knight asked Johnson what it seems an insurmountable challenge. He had to head to the East Coast and start all over again from the ground up a customer base. How did Johnson solve this challenge? He looked through the very database he had built by hand, one by one, until he found a track star in the East who he shared letters with, drove to the kid's house, and knocked on the door unannounced. They had developed a relationship. So he was invited in to share a meal, and the kid gave him all the leads he needed to create traction and establish the brand. This is the power of word of mouth and building a customer experience. Throughout the years, as they were expanding, they made what could have been a tragic mistake. Fortunately, they soon realized they had to adjust the sales. They lost sight of their customers' needs. They overlooked who they were serving, the athlete, who wanted to perform to the best of his or her abilities. In the beginning, Knight wasn't worrying about brand building. It was about surviving, to stay in business, juggling between keeping the lights on, making payroll, to keep the nose above water. You know what I mean, right? I'm sure if you're still here, you can relate. At the beginning of this video, I said he started from his own perspective, as we all do. It is because Knight himself was a runner and a very competitive one. That's why that was his why behind the Nike brand story. Enable athletes to run faster, prevent injuries, and also, in all honesty, to win. However, this truth can be different for everyone. He had content for Adidas, very strong. He wanted to be number one. Nike completely overlooked the women's market, losing market share to Reebok. So Knight had said, at the beginning, they understood their customers, the athletes, making shoes for basketball, tennis, and football. We did essentially the same thing we had done in running. It was effective to a point, but we were missing something. They had clarity of who the core customer were and their values, the non-conformists, who wanted to compete and perform at the highest level. So in 1980, Nike goes public, and money problems were an issue of the past. In the meantime, they had to redefine themselves to stay relevant, to be part of the customer's journey, to be part of their lives. So the three words that allow Nike to be part of millions of people and to empower every citizen to achieve more: just do it. It allowed Nike to enter the conversation in the minds of its customers and let them answer for themselves what it meant to just do it. Whether it was a 13-year-old kid on the block shooting hoops or a 20-year-old girl running free thinking about her future to a 50-year-old man proving to himself that he still got it. This is the discovery. Just Do It was not about sneakers. It was about values. It was not about product. It was about a brand character. If you want to have success in business and you want to grow, here are the 3 lessons from this story. 1. Honor your journey, map out a strategy, and focus on that one strategy. 2. Do not underestimate the power of word of mouth. True, you no longer have to drive miles and miles to meet your clients, but do not leave it out to automation tools. Do the work you have to do. 3. Build a relationship with your customer to know the values, pains, needs, and aspirations. If you enjoyed this story, comment below all the takeaways from this video. If you think it will help a fellow entrepreneur, share it. And remember to subscribe and click the notification button for more business stories lessons.